In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at the current conditions, which we have not done in a few days, and we're also going to be diving into that modeled guidance where, again, we've just been tracking these multiple upcoming snowstorms for the East Coast, including this one that we could see. I'm underlining it right here. This is going to continue to move up the coast, and it's going to bring snowfall to the Northeast. So this is already the beginning of a snowstorm taking place there. We can see there is more systems along the United States. We can see some storm systems around, so we can see that there's going to be multiple upcoming storms as well that we need to track. Now, looking from west to east, we can tell that there's plenty of precipitation coming onshore to Washington, Oregon, and California there, as a cold front with a low along it is moving onshore. There is a bit of a stationary front moving along the Rockies at this point, all the way down through into Mexico, and then this becomes a cold front over the Gulf of Mexico, and you can see this whole system brings showery activity here to the deeper south, like Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana. And then also for areas like Florida here, where we see some thunderstorm activity, almost a daily occurrence there, or multiple times a day occurrence most of the year. And then we can see the biggest storm system at this point is over the Ohio Valley and the Northeast here. Now, let's zoom into some of these different areas quickly, and as you can see, we do have quite a bit of it to go over. Again, pretty heavy precipitation moving onshore to the northwest here. Salem, Portland, down through Eugene, well, just north of Eugene, that is. We're seeing these heavier showers, and also near the northern coast of California, we're also seeing some heavier showers thrown onshore. And then just to the east of Seattle, we do see some snowfall mixing in there for the northern Cascades. Then we can see near Spokane, down through areas in Idaho, southern Idaho there, we see some showers taking place there as well. Again, here through the deeper south, we do see more activity. So areas in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas, and then down through coastal Texas, down through into portions of Louisiana as well. And then we see more thunderstorm activity than anything here in Florida here, as you can see, right in this pocket here. So this is for Tampa, Spring Hill, Daytona Beach, Orlando, Palm Bay, Port St. Lucie. We could see Cape Coral down there as well. So we're seeing these areas getting some thunderstorm activity in here, and some of these appear to be even heavy at times, so definitely a very interesting occurrence there. Now, we have a particularly strong low setting up on the coast of North Carolina. We can see this occlusion taking place here where the cold front and the warm front meet, as you can see, and then there's a low right here. This is usually characteristic of a very, very intense low, and we can see this is throwing activity all the way up and down the mid-Atlantic here through the Delmarva, New Jersey into New York, and then even southern New England there. We're seeing tons and tons of this activity, and they're not quite snowfall yet, where we have this area of pretty broad low pressure taking place up here in the Great Lakes. This is going to swing down, and as these kind of all combine, what we're going to see is rapid cooling in these areas. What's going to happen is this low is going to move up, and we'll see it around here. And obviously we know that things rotate in this direction around lows, and we're going to see this push the cold air down to the south. So all this cold air is going to be able to just dam down the east coast to the west of that low, and that is what's going to cause snowfall to take place in these areas. Now let's go ahead and move on, and what we're going to do is we're going to just take a huge look at the upcoming pattern. Now here we are taking a look at it, and already what we're going to see, well, we'll just zoom into the east right away here, because we do have this basically snowstorm that's going to take place semi-immediately. We can see that by the time we're just reaching this evening, we're going to see areas rapidly switching over to heavy snowfall here from the Finger Lakes regions through the Adirondacks, down south through the Catskills, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and here we're seeing plenty of this snowfall taking place here. As we just continue this on, we see things get even heavier here, especially in this corridor right here. We can see coastal areas being left out here where the rain snow line is something like this. That seems to be the consensus here from a lot of the models. We just see cold air damming take place, especially as this low rapidly intensifies. We could see that there is going to be just tons of snowfall, basically switching over for a lot of these regions. This is going to be a very intense low. And it is going to sit there right offshore of Maine and eventually move out. And we will be left with total snowfall that looks something like this. 10 to 20 inches cannot be ruled out for a lot of these areas in New England and the Northeast in general. So we see the Adirondacks, Catskills, Finger Lakes again, Green Mountains, Berkshires. We see these areas near Keene. These are generally hilly regions and mountainous regions here. even down through the Massachusetts border here. Keene being located right around there. I like that area of New Hampshire, so that's why I always tend to mention it, but we see these very mountainous regions receiving more there just to the east of those areas. In general, south central New Hampshire are doing very, very high on these snowfall amounts, and same story for those Massachusetts areas as well. This is looking to be a massive snowstorm. There's no way around it. Now let's just move back to the United States view. We're going to just backtrack because we kind of skipped over a lot there to see that entire snowstorm. Overall, the jet stream is ridging out west, which I can't say has happened a lot. And we're seeing that S curve out here. See that right there. That S, very characteristic of extremely intense storms. We obviously have a lot of cold air moving in early this upcoming week. Now, as we move on towards about Wednesday, we see this storm system really taking over 995 here, bringing snowfall to a lot of the west. Even though they're seeing a warmer than normal pattern, they're still usually so cold that that does not mean no snowfall will occur. We actually see that by the time we're reaching about the 16th, there is a bit of a ridge occurring in the east, and this will be warmly welcomed, no pun intended, from a lot of folks, I'm sure. But it's going to look something like this, and it's going to be very short-lived because we can already see this very strong low setting up with a cold front, warm front dynamic, and that's clear that it's going to basically push all of that cold air out. We're going to basically see something like this take place. That warm air is going to get forced out. We see probably thunderstorm activity up and down the east coast here as that very strong cold front comes through with very warm air sitting in place. So we should see a bit of a spring-like thunderstorm activity. But then winter returns in a way. We can see that the warmth is looking to fight back as we have this low here set up. But I think this low is the primary one, and we see a warm front really taking over. This is causing the warm air to surge into the central and eastern United States, less the further east you go, but still warmer air trending into the longer range. And we actually see more storminess taking place out west here, which is probably going to pull that trough back down. This all is pointing towards warmer conditions in the longer range. Let's take a look at that total precipitation quickly. If you can see, there's still going to be plenty of storms moving onshore to these western regions. And we're also going to have a lot of this nor'easter activity, as you can see, over the upcoming days. A lot of this, and then we are going to see some of this moving down, but a lot of this transfers over to this low. So it all kind of becomes nor'easters here in the east over the upcoming pattern. Total snowfall, we can see that still out west we expect gargantuan amounts here. That has been the story of the entire winter. I've said that almost every single video, I'm realizing now, but that is just, you can't say it enough. It's just so true. We can see that a lot of lows are going to be moving through these areas here, and this is going to bring plenty of snowfall to the northeast of New England and then the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes here. So that seems to be the areas that will cash in the most here in the east. Let's just take a look here quickly at the GFS model. I want to see if we get any disagreement here, but really we're seeing great agreement. And as we move on, we get that cold front look with the cold air moving back in around the 20th, but what we see is a warming trend in the long range. So look at this. We get around the 25th, very warm here along the east. This would probably be the warmest air of the year for a lot of these areas. But it looks like this might want to bring a trough back in. There we go. So we get cold air returning. This is an all over the place pattern for March, and we're going to have to see how the rest of March goes and then into April. But this has been a very, very interesting pattern to say the least. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We will go over all of these things every single day. I think there's big question marks in the long range pattern, so you're going to want to tune in daily as we just discover more about what to expect over the next 10, 15, even 20 days. Be sure to subscribe so you catch all those videos. Also, you can hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload. Like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video.